Today is Wednesday, January the 26th. The time is 9:45 a.m. We are in the Sheriff's Department of the Clay County, Arkansas. And with me is byers. And at this time I'm getting ready to fill out a rights form. See, it's John Mark Byers.
Yes, sir.
B-Y-E-R-S. And your date of birth?
3/8/57.
And how far did you get education?
High school and 2 years of college.
Well, it rains some now. Okay, John, this is, or Mark, rather. I'm used to calling you Mark. This is a rights form. Anytime that we talk with someone, we have to advise them of their rights. And that's all this is, okay? It's got your name, John Mark Byers, your date of birth, which is March the 8th, 1957. Your education, you said, is 12 years of high school, then 2 years of college. We are at the Clay County Sheriff's Office. That's what this room is. Today's date is January the 26th, 1994, and the time is 9:45 a.m. I'm informing you that I'm Inspector Gary Gitchell of the West Memphis Police Department, and we are conducting an investigation of the offense of capital murder, which is the case of the 3 young boys that we've been working on for all these months, which was committed on about May the 5th, 1993. Before we ask you any questions, you must know and understand your legal rights. Therefore, I warn and advise you. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? Okay, I need you to put your initials there. Anything you say could be used against you in court. Do you understand that? Okay. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and to have him with you during questioning. Do you understand that? If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish, and at no cost to you. Do you understand that? Okay. Paper kind of slides a little bit. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time. Do you understand that? Okay. This bottom portion is a waiver of rights. Basically what this does is allow us to talk to you. It says, I have read the statement of my rights and understand what my rights are. That's what this is. I am willing to make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure force has been used against me. Is that true? Okay. I need your signature right there. And I'll witness it right here. Okay. Mark, what I need to talk to you about is, do you own any knives?
Yes, sir.
What kind of knives do you have?
Case, double A, It's got a narrow blade, about a half-inch wide on it. My brother bought it for me when I was 8 years old for my birthday. I had one other knife called a Kershaw. You know, it's got like a serrated edge, like a Ginzu knife.
Right.
And one of the men on the film crew from New York City, I think his name is Coop, one that had the camera. I don't know if he's here or not. But one day when he was here, we were talking about knives, and he was real friendly to me, and I, as a Christmas gift, gave it to him. So, you know, that's all there was to it. If you ever wanted to see it or anything, he's in possession of it. I gave it to him as a Christmas gift.
All right. When did you give him that knife?
It was the last time they were down here, which was, seems like they were down here in November. And other than just, you know, kitchen knives,
Right. Have you ever taken that knife hunting or used it recently just prior to giving it to, what did you say his name was, Coop?
I think Coop, no, that knife had not been used at all. It had just been kept up put in my dresser, and I didn't use it. And the reason why was because of those serrated edges, you couldn't keep it sharp. And he thought it was neat because it had a Velcro case that you could carry your belt with, and it kind of had a grip on it that felt like pack myers on a gun. And he just really liked it and admired it, and I really didn't like it, so I gave it to him.
Okay.
But no, it had not been out in the woods or anything.
Do you know if any member of your family whatsoever has ever injured themselves or cut themselves on that knife?
Which knife?
This Kershaw knife you're mentioning.
No, sir.
Do any of your sons ever play with the knife?
Christopher never played with knives that I knew about or saw. One time, when Ryan was about, I think, 11, his grandpa bought him a pocket knife at the flea market. It was a $3 pocket knife, and it had a metal blade on it. And he was playing with it upstairs, and he cut himself on the arm. I won't say left arm, just scratched it.
Who did?
Ryan did. We just cleaned it off and put a Band-Aid on it.
But he cut himself with that knife?
Yes, Ryan did. And then that taught him a lesson there.
Now, when did okay, the time is 9:51 a.m. and Detective Ridge has just walked into the room where John Mark Byers and myself are talking about this knife. Now, Ryan cut himself with the knife about how long ago?
Been over 2 years ago, maybe even 3. And back during the summertime, his grandpa had taken him to the flea market.
Okay. Did you actually buy that knife?
No, sir. His grandpa bought it for him. He came home and looked at what grandpa got.
So his grandfather actually bought this Kershaw knife?
No, sir. This knife that he's got, it was...
I thought Ryan did not cut himself with the Kershaw.
Correct. No one's been cut with a Kershaw. I thought you said anybody ever been cut, and I thought, well, yeah, Ryan cut his arm once playing with his knife. But no, sir, no one's ever been. That Kershaw was given to me as a Christmas present, and I didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings, so I told him how nice it was, and I put it up. And that's why I used it a time or two. You couldn't get anybody to sharpen it because it serrated edge. And it just, I thought, well, this thing's working.
What did you use the knife on?
I never used it. You know, I would have used it. Hopefully, was going to use it, for deer hunt. That's all I do is deer hunt. But I never had the opportunity to ever use it on a deer.
Mark, do you have your hunting license?
Yes.
Should I send it to you?
In your house, where would you keep that?
The double case knife would be on a belt, which stays around my hunting breeches, rolled up in the bottom of the sack with my hunting clothes. And that Kershaw knife stays put up in the top of our ship robe in the top drawer. We got a big ship robe, and it stays put up in the top drawer.
Did any of your kids, did Ryan or Chris, know where that knife may have been at? I mean, could they have gotten it out?
No, sir, I don't think they could have. Because they just didn't come in our room that much,
Was there a period of time that this knife may have been kept in the den by your chair?
It seems like when I first got it, I trimmed on my fingernails some with it right there in the little hand.
And you say when you first got it, is that just that particular day it may have been there, or could it have been there for a period of time?
Possibly a day or two, because it was given to me around Christmas. So,
the period of time that it wasn't put up in your room, and it was in the den, or would that have been where it was at the den by your chair?
yes.
Was you there with that knife that entire time? Was it there the other time that
possible, but I never saw any evidence or signs that they had. It was never where they had cut themselves with it, and it was pretty sharp, so there was never evidence that it would be getting cut or ever being moved,
All right, let me get you to look at this for identification purposes. Do you recognize this knife that I just handed to you?
Yes, sir. That's the one I gave to the fella in from New York City.
that's the knife that you say is real sharp and
Well, it felt pretty sharp. Yes, sir. I think it's pretty sharp, man.
is that the same knife we're talking about that may have been the den by your chair?
It's possible. I mean, that's the knife I got for Christmas here.
Which Christmas?
About 2 Christmases back. It would have been Christmas till I was 9. And the man she bought it from is a guy named Billy Lawrence there in West Memphis, was good friends with the Mapco man that sells Mapco tools, and Mapco sells these knives, and he bought it from him for my wife, for me, for a Christmas present.
So your wife is the one that gave it to you as a Christmas present?
Right.
And who purchased it for her?
Billy Lawrence.
This is a Kershaw knife. I'm reading off the blade and then also off of the rubber type, as you described, a Packmeyer grip. It has an inscription of Canyon City underneath the Kershaw. That's spelled Kershaw. On the other side of the knife blade itself, it has the number 1066 in Japan underneath it. It's a knife approximately 9 inches long, found blood on this knife?
I couldn't tell you where. I would assume that it might have come from.
All right.
I got a deer this year, and I was cutting up to make some beef jerky, and I had a filleting knife, a Ginzu filleting knife, and I thought of that knife, and I tried to cut some of the deer thin as possible, and when I found out that it wouldn't cut as thin as skin and knife was, I put it up. So that'd be the only time it's been around anything bloody is when I was cutting some deer meat at home.
All right, when was that?
That would have been like, I killed the deer the 1st of October. So it would have been in October, 1st of November.
October 1st or 1st of November?
First part of October or in November. I don't remember when we were eating on it. There for 2 or 3 weeks, I was making jerky every day.
Okay. All right. Let me go a little further and say there's a problem with that. I mean, I'm not saying that's not true. The problem is we've sent this knife off and had it examined, and it has the blood type of prison.
Well, Gary, I don't have any idea how to be on that.
That's our problem.
I have no idea how to be on that.
Why would this knife have his blood on it?
I have no idea, Gary.
That's what scares me.
I have no idea. I have no idea how it could have any human's blood type on it at all. I don't even remember nipping myself with it cutting the deer meat.
We've had it checked, and it's not animal blood. It's what is called higher eighth. In other words, of the 8th human family or category.
Gary, I have no idea how he could have got hold of it. I have no idea when he could have ever even touched it. Matter of fact, I don't remember him ever touching it. And I have no idea how he got on there.
Well, that's why I was asking you about...
Gary, I have no idea. I don't. I mean, I'll be more willing to take a polygraph test or anything. I have no idea how they got on there. None. And the last time I remember even using it was when I was trying to cut that deer meat into jerky. That's the last time my wife probably even seen me with it.
When was the last time you saw a knife?
The day I gave it that day in New York.
Do you remember the circumstances when you gave it the knife?
Yes, he was there at the house. We had eaten, and he was laying on the couch, and he had made a comment about how he had liked knives, you know, and things like that. And I'd made a comment about the one that I had had. And I went to bed and he got it, and I said, yeah, I'd like to give you this. This is a Christmas gift for you, post-Christmas. I said, during all this filming, you've been very nice to me. You've been very polite. You know, we've become just friends. And I said, I just, you know, give it to you as a gift. And that's all there was to it. He said, oh, thank you very much. You know, and he put it in his pocket.
Did you say anything else about the knife, what it may be used for, or
No.
anything like that that you remember?
No. Gary,
Are you on any medication?
yes.
What kind of medication are you on?
Xanax, Zoloft.
Zoloft?
Zoloft.
What does that do? I'm not
It's
familiar.
antidepressant.
And Xanax, is it for the same?
Yes, it's 1 milligram.
How many do you take a day?
1 to 2.
For a whole day?
Yes, it's been a whole day. Usually 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening before I go to bed.
All right. What about the Zoloft?
1 in the morning. That's all.
Okay. You mentioned you take a polygraph.
Yes, I'll be glad.
I need to account for this blood. Do you see what it...
I'll be glad to try to...
I've got to ask you point blank, Mark. I've got to ask you point blank. Were you around or participated in the death of these boys?
No. Not in any shape, form,
we may have the results right now. Well, we've been waiting on them for the last several days.
Gary, I didn't have anything to do with this. How his blood got on that knife in any way at all, I have no idea.
Well, we had blood taken from Melissa.
Right.
We had blood taken from
Ryan, and you already had mine.
We already had yours, so that's what we're trying to do is see if it could have been, if y'all have similar blood. We don't know. We don't know if there's a similarity.
I don't know what Christopher's blood type was, and I don't even remember what mine is. Ryan has got like a odd AB negative or something like that. And I don't remember what Melissa's was. And I don't remember seeing Ryan playing with a knife anytime I gave it to Coop. It's possible that he could have, and I just didn't see it. But from way back to May, I don't remember Christopher. If he played with it, I didn't know anything about it. Or if he saw it out and, was looking at it, I didn't know anything about it. And if he cut himself with it, it was a small cut because I never noticed him putting a Band-Aid. How they put 4 or 5 Band-Aids on a little bitty cut. I never noticed anything like that.
Okay.
Did he have a knife of his own?
Well, usually what would happen is Grandpa would give Ryan knives. That's the thing Grandpa would do. Well, Ryan would get 4 or 5, and then he'd have 1 or 2 that he'd break the handle on or a blade would break on. He'd give it to little brother. Well, eventually, as I was finally playing with him, I'd throw them in the garbage. I'd get rid of them because I was afraid that he'd get hurt with one of them.
So if he did get hurt with a knife, or if he did play with a knife, the last person he would have told would have been you because you would have thrown the knife away or got on something. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How is your condition? You've mentioned to me before about a tumor that you got.
I have a brain tumor that's right here in the front. They'll want to operate on it if it grows. If it doesn't grow any, then they leave it alone because the paralysis that it's already caused. And there's a real good chance that by removing it because of where it's at, that it can make the paralysis a lot worse than they are, which is like slurred speech. The left side of my face drawn. I've lost some of the hearing in my left ear and part of the feeling in my left leg and hand. Sometimes I'll walk with it, I'll stand up and I'll black out.
When you black out, do you know what occurs?
Well, I've never felt anything. It'd just be like if I stood up out of this chair. When you've been sitting and you stand up real quick, your head would feel lightheaded for a minute.
Right.
I'm sure it's happened to y'all. Well, that's the way it feels, but it maybe goes on for like 30 seconds. Once I was walking in the post office and it happened, and I just held on to the big wall there for a moment,
There was, Mark, you can look at me straightforward. And you were not around the boys. You had nothing to do with this. Is this true?
This is true. Okay. This is true. I was as close as I got to him that night. I'm sure it was his office some more. Because I never ever went down to the pipe. I didn't even know that pipe was there Thursday morning. We were back looking more down that ditch that had the rope where you could swing out on the rope. There's a little ditch that goes this way that runs into the main. You got the main valve, and you got a little ditch here. Then you go on down here, and you got the pipe. And that little branch come in there had a rope that you could swing on. He walked down there to look and see if anybody had tried to cross, hanging on that rope. We looked mostly in that end. Officer Moore had it.
So the closest you got was where the rope was at?
Well, we walked. The closest I got was away from the rope. We walked back to the pipe where that first little gully wash was. Right there is where I stopped. He climbed up to the top of the hill and hollered back in that way, and I hollered back behind me. Then he came back down the hill because it was real muddy, and I was helping holding tree branches and helping holding him so he wouldn't fall. But Gary, there's no way. There's no way, Brian. There's no way. I have no idea how any particle of his blood got on that knife, but there's no way that I've had anything to do with it at all, and I've told you exactly where that knife has been the best I can remember. It was not missing. It hasn't been missing. I had no alternative reason for giving it to him other than he was a friend. He had admired it, and I give it to him just as a gift of kindness, and that was all.
Okay. Is there anything you want to mention while I've got to pay for them? Because I'm going to conclude unless you have anything else.
Other than in no shape, form, or fashion was I involved in the murder of my son or his friend, or had anything to do with it, or knew anything about it, or participated in any way, or had any type of piece of knife, tool, equipment, or murder weapon to harm any of those children.
Okay. Okay, the time is approximately 10 a.m. on Wednesday, January the 26th, 1994.